welcome to Houseplants, New Jersey. I'm Mara, and we're going to be discussing today the Monstera Standleyana. Now, this plant I've had for years now. Um, Originally, I had it. It was growing fantastically. It had leaves that were about probably like 4 inches long. So this is not the original plant. It had leaves that were about 4 inches long. I decided to put it on a moss pole that I made myself, and it was too thin of a moss pole, so I had to water it constantly, and I would water it in the morning. By evening, it was dried out. I'd have to water it again, and then I just kind of gave up on watering it. So what would happen is when I would water the moss pole, it would just drip down into the soil. The leaves started falling off and everything. So what I did was I wet stick propagated that plant. It is growing really, really well in my little propagation box. Now these plants take forever to root, but once they get started, that's a whole nother story. Then they kick off. But I'm wet stick propagating them. They're going pretty well. Um, but I do have an old wet stick cutting of my original plant, and then I also have this other plant that this girl gave me. So my friend gave me. So um, what we're gonna do is I want to put it into a pot with a moss pole because now I want to grow it up a moss pole. Now I found these plastic back ones. I put this already together because it's kind of boring watching me put it together. So it has a plastic back on it, and with the plastic back, you don't have to water it constantly. It holds more moss, it's more uniform, and it's more organized, and it's neater. And that's what I'm going to be using. Yes, you have to buy these, but you also buy the mesh, you also buy the moss for yours if you make them on your own. These, for me, totally the way to go. All right. So what I'm going to be doing is I want to check. I haven't seen the roots on this one or this one. So this one I had propagated from a wet stick. Okay. So I definitely, and I was going to sell it. I sold a bunch of them, but I decided to keep this one back. It was the last one that I had at my shop. All right, but I'll have a whole new stock coming in because I'm propagating wet sticks. So, but I do want to see what the roots look like, and I'm going to combine them together. Okay, so we're going to combine them together, and then we're going to have them grow up that moss pole. All right, just give me a second. I thought I had everything I needed, but I really don't. I need a butter knife to cut this out of here because this is a pot with no drainage. I'll be back. I'm back. I have a butter knife. So I want to start out with the one that I propagated. I want to see the roots on it, and I'm going to angle you down. Okay, so this is my tray. And I'm going to just go around the outside of this glass container. And we could see some arrow roots on here and everything, which is great. And we're just going to pull it out. All right. I don't want to rip any roots. These things take forever to root. So be very gentle with the roots. Okay? So here we go. We have our roots here. Excellent. All right. So we got a nice little specimen here. Then I'm going to take this one and I'm going to kind of dump this one out. And even this one. The root system is not that huge. All right, so we're going to be using this soil. We're going to reuse all this soil here. And these are throwing off new leaves. There's a bunch of cuttings in here. All right. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this soil. I'm going to put it into this Tupperware here. All right. We're going to reuse all this soil because it's pretty fresh. But then we're also going to take some of my soil here, plop that in there. All right. And then we're going to take some. Now I like to use, hold on, I'm going to angle you up again. It's up and down and up and down. But I'm going to angle you up again. Orchid. I like this Better Grow Orchid mix. It has orchid bark. It's like really coarse. So I have, it's like orchid bark, coarse perlite, and horticultural charcoal. So that's the end of that bag. Throw that out. We're going to put some earthworm castings in there too. All right. Pretty decent amount. All right. And then some mosquito bits because I don't like the fungus gnats, which my video after this, we're going to have to, I have a plant that has issues. So stay tuned for that one. All right. So now I'm going to angle you down again. So I'm going to take this. We have the mosquito bits on top, earthworm castings, horticultural charcoal, perlite, coarse perlite, and we also have the old soil that it was in. All right. So basically, this is like a really good mix. All right. So we're going to mix this up all the way. Now the girl I got this plant from, she's really into. Now see this big piece of bark? We're going to break it in half. Any big pieces like that, just break if you can. All right, here we go. So now we're going to take our pot, okay? I'm reusing a pot that I had. And then I'm going to take my moss pole, all right? So I want you to be able to see this. I'm going to take my moss pole. I'm going to take some of this moss and I'm going to shove it into the moss pole. Wait, get it out of that soil. I don't want it in that soil. And this will be like, almost like a cork, kind of, to keep that soil in the bottom of it, okay? Put this in to about the top of the pot, and that actually works out well, okay? So see where the moss ends is the top of the pot, all right? Now, we're going to take some of this potting mix and we're going to put it in there. Put it into the moss pole. All right. You're going to kind of pack it in there because eventually these roots will grow into this pole. All right. So we want to get it in there. I kind of like my hands for this. All right. So we got it all nice and packed in there. We're going to take our pot. We're going to put it kind of upside down. And we're going to shove it in there. All right. Now, we're going to take some of our potting mix. We're going to put it in there. All right. These roots are not super duper deep. So we're going to put a good amount in there, and I really want to pack it in. All right, then we're going to take our plant. All right, you see that? We're going to take our plant, we're going to put it in there. We're going to take our other plant, and we're going to put it in there. Make sure it's the back of the plant where the aerial roots are going. Now I have a few plants here, so we could actually line them up if I want to break them apart. I have 4 here. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to line them up. And you'll see the aerial roots. Now we're going to fill it up with soil. Don't go too crazy. Like, don't be like jamming it down there. Once you water it, should be better. And then we're going to fill it up with more soil in the back. All right, and that's it. So that is the beginning of our Standleyana, Monstera Standleyana moss pole. I'm going to fill it up with moss, and then I'm going to show you how it looks after it's all full. Hang on, I'm going to fill it up with moss so you don't have to sit through that. Okay, so this is the end result of my Standleyana, my new Standleyana, I must say. Part of it was old. It was a wet stick cutting, and then I got a new plant from one of my friends, so that was good. And we'll grow them together up a moss pole, and it should do very, very well. The root system is there. Definitely not going to be an overwatered moss pole like I had before. So, all right, thank you for joining me. Like, subscribe, comment. I want to hear what you guys have to say. All right, thank you. Bye.